It's going to be a good race here at Russia. I'm about to enter qualifying very soon as we get everybody to ready up here. Very technical track, full of high speed, lots of curb to cut, and a fairly balanced setup around here. But it's going to be very interesting into turn 1. And we will get ready to start the session here. It's going to be a first time commentating here, but I'll give it my best shot. I've got a good names list here to go off of, so I should be okay. Everyone's starting to ready up now. Okay, let's get this underway. Now, Russia is actually quite a highly controversial track. It seems to be that I've noticed over the week that some drivers love this track and some drivers just really do not like it. I'm not sure why, because it's quite a it's quite a solid track. There's not much wrong with it in my opinion, but I think it might be to do with some track limits being easily able to be exceeded without penalty. But nonetheless, it's a reasonable track, not enough room for overtaking. Let's go ahead and check our Australian comments here. Transition eSports. Okie doke, stream is working. Good to know. Let's see who comes out first on track here. The drivers are just loading their setups, I suppose, and I hear a couple engines revving up. It's a Red Bull about to come out here. It's the Red Bull of Brett Keenan coming down the pit lane now, followed by the Williams of Ken Doyle. A Racing Point and a Renault here. That seems to be Samuel Sullivan and Nate Smith. I see Elliot coming out the pit lane now in the Haas. His teammate Mark Ratby is yet to exit the pit lane. We'll go on board with Brett Keenan now as he warms up his tyres. The track looks reasonably cold out there, so it's going to be crucial to get the tyre temps up for qualifying. And oh! Very close there from what the cameras looked like anyway. Contact, but it seems to have gotten away clean. On the soft tyre, the strategy around here is soft to mediums. So there will be no need for drivers to qualify on mediums to suppose go for a different strategy. It seems to be soft to mediums, but it'll be interesting to see other drivers going for different strategies. I'm not sure what the weather is for the race, so that could be another factor. Brett getting ready for his outlap, making sure he has enough space here. Here he comes into the last set of corners. Very important you get a good exit out of this corner up here, the last turn. And he seems to have done that quite well. Down the main straight now. Get his telemetry up. DRS activated down the main straight. Hot lap ERS, obviously. Down he goes. And he's actually saving his ARS a little bit here. But into turn 1, he's gotten away from that pretty well. Around this very, very long left-hander here. And braking very heavily into the short right-hander, and he's gone wide, exceeded track limits. Unlucky for Brett there. He'll charge up his DRS and go again, possibly. We'll go on board with Ken Doyle, who's on a hot lap now, coming around the last couple of corners here. Let's see what he can do. Ladies and gentlemen, in the Williams, here comes Ken Doyle around the last corner. What time is he going to set the bar? A 1:33.4. That is a decent lap time around here. But I'm sure there's room for improvement. As we say that, in the Alfa Romeo here comes Fabio, who I believe is also on a hot lap. Will he be able to take provisional pole here? Coming around the last few corners. And across the line, he set a 1:32.7. Much faster than the lap time of Ken Doyle. Jurek is out of the session. What's happened there? What has happened to Juraj? I'm not sure what's happened there. But Mark Bratby now on his hot lap on the soft tyre. He's gone a bit wide, but I think that still counts as a lap. He's still putting... Nope, he's eased off. Unfortunate for Mark, he might go again anyway. Brett Keenan now and Matthew Elliott in the pits. I'm not sure if this is a visual error, but it seems to be that Samuel Sullivan is on the medium tyre. That is interesting because... yeah, he is on the medium tyre. Him and Diego Cruz are both on. Diego Cruz are both on the medium tyre. Interesting. And Jaden is actually on the hard tyre. I'm not sure what that is. He can't be testing setup because of the Parc Fermé regulations. So I'm not sure what he's doing here with the hard tyre. Because if he's going hard to soft, then that's going to be a very weird strategy. Because the soft to medium strategy is just going to be faster all the way through the race. So I'm not sure if that's going to work. I don't think he's actually going to try and qualify on those hards, but as we say that, I think... oh wait, no. Fuck it. Never mind. Sorry. Thought... Fabio set another fastest lap, but... Ken Doyle coming out again for trial number 2 here. We'll go on board with him. We'll actually come back to him when he's about to start his hot lap. Oh no, everyone else is on an out lap as well by the looks of it, or in the pits. So we'll just ride on Ken Doyle here, who is now third with a 1:33.4. in the Rocket Williams Racing. He's saving those precious soft tyres, going very easy on them on his outlap. Ahead of him is the racing point of Nate Smith. Is Nate going to let him past? I think he is. Ladies and gentlemen, with 10 minutes left in the session, let's see what Ken Doyle can do here to possibly move from third up to a pole position. With Fabio's very solid 32.7 time there. That will be hard to beat. In fact, Daniel has actually set a 133 flat. That is very interesting. But here goes Ken Doyle down the main straight. DRS activated. Very close there, catching curb to get any hundredths of a second that he can. Down into the first corner. He's taken it pretty well. Flat out around this long left-hander. Under the Rolex bridge and braking hard into this right-hander, catching as much entry curb and exit curb as possible. 150 meter board, braking in, catching a lot of curb. He's going very well in the first sector. Under the Rolex bridge with a very technical left-hander that he's nailed. He's got the apex for that perfectly, catching just the right amount of exit curb. This is an absolute flyer by the looks of it. DRS activated down the second straight. And into the third sector he goes. Catching a good amount of curb, as usual this lap. And he spun it! Oh no! That's unfortunate. It looks like he's just going to have to gather his thoughts, get a new set of tyres, and go again on the last couple of minutes, because that is unfortunate. That was going to be an absolute flyer of a lap there. Really unfortunate. Going down the grid at the moment, we have Fabio, Daniel Bubble, Ken Doyle, Nate Smith. We've got Matty Smith, followed by Matthew Elliott and Diego Cruz. Brett Keenan, followed by Jaden and Samuel. Jurek, unfortunately, out of the session there. And Joseph in 12th there in the McLaren, and Bratby, Mark Bratby, who still hasn't set a lap, which will join right now actually. Mark Bratby on the medium tyre. Let's see what he can do here. Good out of turn 1, approaching the Red Bull of what I believe is Brett Keenan on the outside there, doing his own little race. Oh, he's gone wide again. Unlucky for Mark Bratby. He'll probably get an exceeding track limits for that. If not, he's going to continue his lap. Losing time, but a lap is better than nothing. Yellow flags in Sector 2. What's that for? Ah, I think it's just Brett gone wide a little bit there. Oh, and Diego Cruz has hit the wall and got front wing damage in Sector 2 here. He might want to watch out as approaching cars come by. Fabio also on an outlap. Oh, Daniel Budwell has actually gone and set another fastest lap here, 32.5. Just about 3/10 faster than Fabio's 32.7. Everyone seems to be on the soft tyre here apart from Diego Cruz on the mediums, Jaden on the hards, and Samuel on the mediums as well. I mean on the mediums, and Mark Bratby. So only 4 drivers not on the soft. It's very interesting. Kendall is on another outlap here on the soft tyres. Interesting to see what he can do here, as he's been on an absolute flyer of a lap and not been able to complete it in the third sector, the last couple of technical corners of sector 3. Possibly the most difficult part of the track. Right here is where he spun last time around. He's got a new set of soft tyres. Let's see what he can do here around Russia. He is now dropped down to 6th, so the pressure is on to set a great lap here to put himself back onto that podium or even a provisional pole here. The lap has started under the YTB bridge. DRS activated. Down the main straight. Passing a Renault into the first corner, taking a good amount of curb. He's taken that very well. Pedal to the metal around this left-hander, but ready to brake heavy into this right-hander, taking a good amount of curb to maintain his momentum. Next to the grandstands, braking it just ahead of the 50-meter board. Carrying his momentum very smoothly under the Rolex bridge and braking heavy again, but not too heavy. It's that right-hander. Very technical double apex here that he's taken very well. Gone a tad wide there from the curb, but he's kept it staying as close to the walls as you can, and then switching over. Very well done under the Fanatec bridge. He's kept it straight onto the last couple of corners. He's taken a lot of that curb, but it's not been invalidated. Around the last couple of corners now, what is Ken Doyle going to set here? Ken Doyle has spun on the last turn, but he's kept it. He's set a 132.5. If he didn't lose traction in that last corner, he might have pinched pole from Daniel Budwell, but he has kept second. Nate Smith out here on his outlap, along with Matty Smith, the two Smiths. I'm not sure if they're related. They might be, but probably not, because Smith is a reasonably common name. Couple cars coming out the pits now as we speak. We've got the... Who have we got coming out the pits? The Red Bull of Brett Keenan. Jaden Schock has retired from the session. I'm not sure if that's because he's done with his laps. I think it might be. Or if he's crashed out. That's very unfortunate. Everyone's coming out now. The last minute. They need to get around that track as quick as they can. There is no time for warming the tyres. They need to get around that circuit. They're timing it very last minute. It's the McLaren of speeding number 2, which is Joseph Roberts. We've got Brett Keenan and Nate Smith and Fabio all on their outlaps. Diego Cruz and Mark Bratby on the soft tyre now. Interesting to see what these guys can do at the bottom here, because they've all qualified on mediums and not a soft tyre. Excuse me. Let's see what Fabio can do here. It seems to be a battle for pole between Ken Doyle, Fabio. Oh, Ken Doyle's retired. I think that might be because of time restraints. Ken Doyle is settling for second, but there's still a lot of time to go for people to get set in a faster lap. Brett Keenan here in 6th is looking to improve his lap on a new fresh set of softs on his outlap here. Everyone's starting to retire now. DRS activated for Brett Keenan down the main straight under the Pirelli bridge. The beautiful rusher into... Oh, he's gone wide. He has called off his lap. Really unfortunate for Brett Keenan there. But we've got the McLaren of Joseph Roberts on his hot lap here. Let's see what he can do. As Matty Smith actually goes further up the grid, or am I... Yeah, he has. He's gone faster with a 132.7. That tops Fabio. Fabio needs to set a faster lap here. He's in sector 1 now. He's gone 3,000ths of a second. Brett is in the wall. Oh my word. That got a little bit close. But Fabio's kept it away from Brett. He seems to be going very quick here on these fresh softs in sector 2 now. About to enter sector 3. DRS activated on the second DRS zone of the circuit, the second of 2. He set a 1 minute 5. He's 2/10 up from his time, which will actually... Oh, Diego Cruz has set a faster lap. He's done for the session. A 132.2 is what Fabio has to beat here. Will he be able to do it? We don't know, but he's the last hope here that is going to be able to get provisional pole. What is he going to be able to do, ladies and gentlemen? He's gone a bit wide there, but he's got a lot of exit curb. What will he do? He has actually set a 132.4, which is only good enough to put him third. What a qualifying session here. The last car... Oh, no. The last car in circuit... Oh no, everyone's done by the looks of it. The McLaren of Joseph Roberts pulling into the pits now, and that will be our qualifying session over. A very interesting one. Running down the grid for the F3 short qualifying, we have Diego Cruz in the Alfa Romeo, followed by... Sorry. Daniel Budwell and Fabio, Ken Doyle. We've got Matty Smith, Nate Smith. We've got Jaden, Brett Keenan, Joseph Roberts, Matthew Elliott, Mark Bratby, Samuel Sullivan, and Gerard. Very interesting qualifying there. With Samuel actually starting on the mediums for the race here. Very, very interesting. Everyone else on the softs. I'm actually quite impressed with myself. I'm learning names quite easily here. I've got a full name list, which is helping me out, but should be okay. We got a very diverse grid here at Translation Esports. Looking at my name list, but here we are on the formation lap. I've gone through it previously, but I'll go through it again here. The Translation Esports F3 grid for round 16. On the front row, we have Diego Cruz, followed by Daniel Budwell. In third, we have Fabio in the Alfa Romeo, followed by Ken Doyle in the Williams. In fifth, we have Matty Smith, followed by the Racing Point of, Nate Smith, who is stuck on the grid there. He's not going to have the opportunity to warm up his tyres. We have Jaden Felter in the Red Bull in 7th, followed by his teammate Brett Keenan, 5/10 behind. Oh wait, no, about I'm not sure. The McLaren of Joseph Roberts in 9th, who is being stared down by the Haas of Matthew Elliott, who is also followed by his teammate Mark Bratby. In the final 2 positions we have a Renault and a Ferrari, the Renault of which is belonged to by Samuel Sullivan, and the Ferrari by Juros Pacos. We'll cut to the front of the grid here. It's going to be a very interesting race, going to the very tight first turn. I assume there'll be many time penalties throughout this race, which will add a factor into the end result. But Diego Cruz looks very fast here. Very fast. That's a good shot. 2 Red Bulls and 2 Haas's. Actually, no, we've got lots of teammate starts here. We've got the Williams starting together. We've got the Red Bulls and the Haas's all starting consecutively to each other. Lining up on the grid here with Nate Smith, who still hasn't moved. His tires are going to be cold heading into the first corner. Here's the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go with Diego Cruz getting a decent start here. He's flying away. The Toro Rosso of Daniel Budwell is closely following behind, with the 2 Williams going either side of each other into the first corner. Oh, there's contact. There is severe contact here at the back. Brett Keenan has got severe wing damage. I see a Racing Point wing damage of Nate Smith. And someone's in the wall. Matthew Elliott has also copped severe damage from that. Ken Doyle has gone all the way down to 12th. Oh, what an unfortunate start. Mark Bratby's gotten away without damage, but there's another Red Bull that's out of the track. Jaden, 3 wide with the Ferrari, Renault, and Racing Point. Bit of lag. What a start to this race. The Ferrari of Drage driving Samuel a bit wide there, but there doesn't seem to be much damage. The Racing Point of Nate Smith seems to have wing damage. I think most people have wing damage from that opening corner. Does the McLaren have wing damage? I don't think so. Yep, the front of the grid doesn't seem to have any wing damage at all, as my alarm goes off. But pretty much everyone from, about 7th down has wing damage. We'll see if people come in. Oh! Bit of lag contact there. Oh, the Renault of Samuel's actually staying out with all that wing damage. I think it's just end plate. We have now a Racing Point of Nate Smith, Fabio, who qualified 3rd, I believe. Jaden and Brett. All these cars. All cars from 8th downwards are in the pits. I believe softs are supposed to last to lap 10 around here. Not even that. But the mediums probably should make the distance around here. Let's see what's going on with the front of the grid. Diego Cruz has seemed to have held his position there in 1st place. But we have a Toro Rosso and a Williams fighting for 2nd here. A very lonely McLaren here in 4th, who has a 5-second gap to the car behind, which is the Ferrari of Girage. Very, very scary, but interesting start. Because these mediums are going to be much faster than the softs eventually. But because everyone that is pitted in now has also come in for a front wing, it's going to be a very big effort for anyone from 8th downwards to get anywhere near a podium result. Everyone from 1st to 7th seems to have a decent, like, not too big of a gap between each other. The largest gap was Gerard, who was 6/10 behind the McLaren of, sorry, still learning names, Joseph Roberts there. But then there's the massive gap with that is signified by the racing point of Nate Smith, 27 seconds behind the Haas of Mark Bratby. That's the split between cars that pit and cars that didn't. Yellow flags in Sector 3. What have we got here? Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be right back. Okay, people, I am back. Don't think much has changed. Oh! Toro Rosso of Maddie Smith. No, fine, sorry. The Toro Rosso of Daniel Budwell has come in here on the softs now. I think that's just a visual glitch here. Yeah, okay. He's... Oh, even the telemetry says on the softs. Mark Bratby has had a hell of a comeback here. Oh, he hasn't pitted yet. That is a-okay. He's 11 seconds behind the McLaren of Joseph Roberts. But he's only got a 2-second gap to El Sulo, well, Samuel, who has already pitted. Mark is going to do his best here to get as much of a gap as he can before he pits. Actually, wait, no, he's pitted. He's the one on the better strategy. Sorry. He's on the mediums now. He's going to start bridging a gap to those who are on softs. Bratby has actually got the upper hand here. He didn't qualify on mediums, did he? I don't think so. Derek Cruz has bridged a solid 5.5 second gap to the car behind of Maddie Smith. Very comfortable position for him. He is yet to pit. His tyres are 4 laps old. Yeah, there we go. Mark Bratby qualified on mediums. So he will be pitting in, I would assume, around lap 20, 19 even, to get softs on even, or hard. I'm not sure what Mark's doing here, but I'll leave him up to it then. Fabio is doing his best to make up time. He's going to try and make a move on Nate Smith here as Brett Keenan get the 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits multiple times. From what we've seen, we believe Fabio is probably probably a faster driver here than Nate Smith, but it'll be great to see. And of course, Nate is on the slower tyre, on the hard tyre. Sorry, so Mark. Did Mark come in for that front wing damage? Did Mark cop front wing damage? Because his mediums are only 5 laps old. And it's lap 6 now. Yeah, he's come in for those mediums. He's going to try and keep those as in prime condition as possible. He's actually slowly but surely bridging that gap, that 15-second gap. He's brought it down to 14 seconds now. At the moment, he's probably on about an equal tyre with 5-lap-old softs on 5-lap-old mediums. But those softs of those podium sitters are going to start to die out very soon. I'm really not sure what's going on here. I apologise, ladies and gentlemen, but I've kind of missed a hot minute. Jiraj has left the session. I don't know what's happened to him, but he will retire from the session. Oops, as my alarm goes off again, I'm going to have to disable that really quickly. Nate Smith on the hards, who is now being caught up by Fabio here. Fabio is looking to make a move very shortly. He might make one around here. Hopefully these guys can get away cleanly, because Fabio is looking for vengeance to get back up to a podium spot after a very unlucky start. This gap is only getting closer. Brett gets another time penalty. As I said at the start of the race, it's probably going to be quite the place for time penalties. Samuel getting a 3-second as well. Oh, Nate Smith has actually gotten too much throttle there on the exit of the final corner. Now Fabio's got to run on him down the main straight. What will Fabio do here? Fabio's got past him with DRS on the medium tyre. Nate has given up that spot there because he knows he's on the slower tyre. Or not. Is Fabio... I mean, Nate might be going again. We're right on board, actually. How much ERS has Fabio got? Fabio's got plenty of ERS to burn to get away. And there seems to be a gap going up by the 10th here that Fabio is bridging. as to be expected, as Nate Smith gets a time penalty. That might be his first, I'm not sure. Nate's got the DRS here and he's going down the... Oh, I thought he might have gone down for an inside move there, but apparently not. It's gone very wide there. Fabio is on a mission to catch up to this Toro Rosso of Daniel Budwell, as he is actually trying to catch up to Mark Bradby. Matty Smith gets a 3-second time penalty. But what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen? Fabio is on the... Actually, no, sorry, this isn't Fabio we're on board with. This is Daniel Budwell. He is on the faster tyre, being on the softs, than Bradby, who is on the mediums. But this... I am not sure why Daniel has decided to pit in for softs when he had that wing damage. Because those softs are only 5 laps old. So he's going to overtake Mark Bradby here, but he's down by a pit stop. Perhaps he's just trying to get some time from the rest of the pack to get a pit stop in for the mediums. But he's just wasted himself a pit stop. I'm not sure what strategy is there. The gap between Nate and Fabio has now bridged to about 6/10 as Brett gets another 3-second time penalty. I believe he's probably on 9 seconds now. Oh, there's actually a battle here between Ken Doyle and Jaden. Ken Doyle on the faster medium tyre. DRS for Ken. Is he going to make a move on Jaden Shock? He's going to go around the outside. Jaden Shock has actually changed his line twice there. Very interesting. Ken Doyle's backed off the throttle there, as Jaden goes very wide, going defensive, I assume. Giving Ken Doyle the opportunities to take the better lines. Ken Doyle is making sure he doesn't make contact with this Red Bull. He's backing off very early into these corners. He's, I would assume, looking to make a move here on this upcoming DRS zone. He's got an okay run there. Will it be enough to overtake him, to overtake Jaden in this DRS spot? He is gaining a lot of momentum. Is he going to go down the inside? No, he's backed off early. Maybe he's going to go for a move on the main straight DRS zone. We're yet to know. Mark Bradby now has actually closed the gap to Matty Smith, who has actually just come in for a brand new fresh set of mediums. Matty Smith. His tyres will be cold, but as long as Matty Smith can hold off Mark Bradby for just this lap or two, he should be able to crawl away, as he is actually on the fresher tyre. Brett gets another 3-second time penalty there. And Daniel also gets 3-second. Oh, Ken Doyle's about to make a move on Jaden here. Completely forgot about this battle. He's going down the inside. They're side by side still. Look at that straight line speed of that Williams. Jaden leaving no space. But Ken has got the job done, or has he? Jaden is still on his inside. Jaden is still got the momentum into this corner. Heading into the DRS zone. Sorry, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Jaden going around the outside. With Ken leaving no room. DRS for Jaden. Going down the inside here of this wall that gets very tight. Ken leaving a lot of space for him. Ken getting the position. Or not. What a battle here. Jaden has taken back the position on the hard tyre. Those hards will be getting up to their prime very soon. If Jaden can hold this for another couple of laps, for probably about 5 laps, or even 10, he will be on technically the better tyre. Those mediums are just as old as his are. And of course we all know that the hards last longer than mediums. As Ken Doyle gets a DRS run into the first corner. Jaden braking very late, which allows Ken to get the better line. Jaden going wide. Getting a 3-second time penalty for it. That's going to make Ben more comfortable. Ken, sorry. There's actually a yellow flag in Sector 1 too. What's happened up here? Oh, who's that up ahead? Oh, I think that's the Haas of Matthew Elliott. No, who's that? That's... Yep, that is Haas of Matthew Elliott. Very unfortunate for him today. He has not had the best race at all. He's pulling off, I think. Oh no, he's just got front wing. We might get a retirement very soon, but we'll get back to the battle here between Jaden and Ken, which has only gotten closer. Oh, there's contact! Jaden has made contact with Ken Doyle, but he's slowed down to let Ken Doyle pass. He's given Ken Doyle wing damage there. In fact, I think they've given each other wing damage. No. Jaden's actually gotten away with that, but they're both going to stay out. Ken Doyle's retired. I think Ken Doyle's gone into the wall on pit entry. Oh no. Oh no. As Matthew Elliott gets a 5-second speeding, he's not had a good... Yeah, he's retired. But Ken Doyle has put it in the pit entry wall. Oh, I'm sure he might be filing that to the stewards. The contact between Jaden and Ken. That is not good at all. Ken was going pretty well down the 10-lap-old mediums. But Jaden seemed to have started braking a bit too late. A bit too late. We've got another close battle. We've actually got a battle between Mark. We've got lots of cars close together here. But the closest gap seems to be between Mark Bratby and Joseph Roberts. Joseph Roberts is actually on fresh mediums now. He's just come in for a pit stop. Mark Bratby has actually done very well on the medium tyres, stretching them as long as he can. He's come right up from towards the bottom of the grid, actually. Everyone else below him is also on old tyres that will need to come in eventually. So Bratby is in for a top 5 finish, that's for sure. Good old Mark Bratby. There's actually a gap between Fabio, how did I forget that? and Mark Bratby. Fabio closing the gap here on mediums that are only a lap younger, so that won't make much of a difference at all. This is purely on driver skill here between Fabio and Mark Bratby. Mark will be receiving the dirty air from Joseph Roberts, but again, so will Fabio from Mark Bratby. Fabio is actually going to have a run here with DRS. He has got a lot more speed. Mark has not got a very good exit out of the last turn at all. Fabio is going to take that position right out of Mark's hands there. I think Mark might actually be trying to save fuel on the lean mixture here. He's upshifting very early, so I think he is actually trying to save fuel. We are just past the halfway point here, ladies and gentlemen. And we've still got Diego Cruz out front, 15 seconds ahead of anyone else. He's made his stop for fresh mediums. He will not be pitting again. And unless he bottles it, I don't think he's gonna... I think he might win this race. Matty Smith will have to have an incredible comeback here, which is all and well possible. Be interesting to see. Oh, Nate is also going for a move on Mark Bratby. Oh, he's actually kind of not... Oh, he's kind of shoved Mark off here. That's not the cleanest move, but contact wasn't made, so he should be okay with it. Mark is dropping down the positions here, and he's only got a 10-second gap to those who have pitted. Will Mark be able to hold this 10-second lead from the Toro Rosso of Daniel Budwell? We will have to see. We've had 3 casualties. Had Ken Doyle, Matthew Elliott, and Jiraj all out of this race. Ken Doyle, very unfortunate, and Matthew Elliott has just not had a very lucky day out either. Brett is also pretty far back from the Renault of Samuel. Joseph Roberts is actually going to have to save fuel here. He's got the yellow fuel light on, so he's going to have to go down to the lean mixture. He's still got plenty of time to gain that fuel back as we start lap 17. Now, Fabio's tyres are much older than those of Joseph Roberts, but Fabio's a very talented driver. Will he be able to bridge this 1.2 second gap? If he can just get in that DRS, then he might have a chance actually. And if he can do that, as Daniel Budwell sets the fastest lap there on fresh mediums. Mark Bratby's out. What has happened to Mark Bratby? How has he crashed there? What's happened there? Did someone make contact with Mark Bratby possibly? He is on the dead center of the track. That is not good at all. You can't have engine blowouts in this game, can you? Oh no, what has happened to Mark? Puncture possibly? I am not sure. Because that is... That is unfortunate for Mark Brappy. We'll have to see what happens there. Oh my! Fabio has bridged the gap to the McLaren of Joseph Roberts here. He's going for a move on the DRS zone. Joseph Roberts, his tyres are going to be... We're going to have much more traction than Fabio's, but I think he's made a mistake. Because that was a pretty good gap between the two. This goes to show that Fabio is a very talented driver. Let's see. DRS activated. Fabio going for a move on Joseph Roberts. Or not. Fabio's got a bit more ERS than Joseph Roberts. And Joseph also has to bump his car down to lean mixture if he hasn't already, because his fuel is low. And Fabio has got more ERS and more fuel. Fabio is well up for a podium position here. He's in the DRS zone again. Yes, he is. DRS activated. For Fabio, is going to go for another move down here as we go under the Pirelli bridge into turn 1. What's going to happen here? Braking heavy. They've both braking very heavy there. But Fabio's got the better run into the long left-hander. Fabio's got the job done, but I don't think it's actually over. Joseph Roberts still has plenty of time to catch up, but Fabio's done an amazing job to catch up to Joseph Roberts here. Outstanding effort. Oh no, oh sorry, I thought Joseph Roberts hit the wall there for a second. Got end plate damage, but I don't think he has. Brett's pit in for fresh softs, which will probably bring him to the end of the race, but I think he's just going to try and go for those fastest lap points, because he does not really have much of a chance to get anywhere near Samuel. So I assume he's just going to try and go for fastest lap here. Fabio has gotten away from Joseph Roberts, but Joseph's now got the DRS as Daniel Budwell actually sets fastest lap. DRS is not going to help Joseph Roberts. Fabio is crawling away. I must admire the ERS management of Fabio here, because he's managed to consistently catch up to people without his ERS even going down that much. Joseph Roberts is still has to save more fuel, so I think Fabio is actually going to crawl away with third here. We've got a Force India of Nate Smith, who is just trailing behind third and fourth here, maybe hoping for a mistake. Man, Diego Cruz has had a flawless race. I don't think he's made one mistake throughout this whole entire event. He's now 17 seconds ahead of anyone else. Matty Smith there in a bit of rear end. Fabio, there's 6 laps to go, and Fabio's got a 7-second gap. Would it be possible? Because he's caught up to Joseph Roberts, who was on 10 lap older tires. Could he catch up to Matty, who was also on 10 lap younger tires than his? What I'm saying is, Joseph Roberts' tires are 10 laps younger than Fabio's, but Fabio was able to catch up and take the position within a couple of laps. Matty Smith's tires are also about 10 laps younger than Fabio's. Could Fabio actually bridge this gap? Or is the gap between them too large for 6 laps? He would need to be catching up a second per lap now. Well, actually, about a second and a half now a lap. And I don't think that's going to be possible on 10 lap older tires. Joseph Roberts has actually kept the gap between the two very, very contained. Thought it'd be much larger by now, as the Force India of Nate Smith is still trailing behind on 20 lap old hards. Red Bulls haven't had the best day out, and we now have 4 casualties. Mark Bratby joining Ken Doyle, Matthew Elliott, and Girage. Now, I don't think Fabio has any time penalties, but if he does, then in fact, I think Joseph Roberts might have a couple, or one, I'm not sure, don't take my word for it. But if the Force India of Nate Smith can keep this gap... Sorry, Racing Point. I think I said Force India. If he can keep this 2-second gap, he might be in for a fourth place here. Jaden coming in for fresh softs. He might be trying to rob his teammate of fastest lap. Coming out in front of our race leader, he'll have to give that position. Ghosting's on. Interesting. Yeah, Fabio has now extended his lead to 1 second. But Nate Smith has dropped back about 3/10. How many time penalties have been handed out this weekend? My word. We're right on board with the Toro Rosso of Daniel Bodwell now, who is now only a 1.5 seconds behind the Racing Point of Nate Smith. He's on much better tyres than Nate Smith, and he's only a couple of tenths away from being in the DRS. So this could be a potential battle brewing for the fifth spot. and they've got nothing to worry about as Samuel's a whole minute behind them. So this will be the battle to watch. Battle for 5th. Only 3 laps remaining now in this race. Well, technically 4. It seems to be that Joseph Roberts has saved his fuel. That's probably why the gap has dropped so much. But as we say that, actually no, never mind. Don't worry about me. But Daniel is getting much closer to Nate Smith now. A whole lot closer. He's on the much better tyre as Nate goes wide there. Daniel should be in the DRS. Yep, he is in DRS range for Nate Smith. On the charge now, down the second DRS zone. I don't think he's going to make a move unless... Nope, he's not making a move. Very responsible. But he would possibly make a move on the main straight. Heading on to lap 25 now. We're almost done here, ladies and gentlemen. And right after this, I'm off to a F4 race. Please join us for that. The gap is now only 5/10 from Daniel to Nate. Time penalties will play a part here, but I'm not sure how big of a part. Nate's actually closing in his gap. He's closed about a second on Speedy. Well, sorry, Joseph Roberts. Doesn't have any wing damage. No one does, I don't think. Brake gets another 3 second. He has been ripped to shreds throughout this race. Oh, Daniel braking very late into the last turn. He's in DRS again on the main straight. As we said, he might go for a move here on Nate Smith. He's got a lot of speed, but I don't think it's going to be enough for an overtaking move. In fact, he's backing off very, very early into these corners. Maybe he's just accepted that he has time penalties and he's not going to take the risk of overtaking. He knows he's not going to sacrifice 6th. Because the person behind him's a whole minute and 2 seconds behind. So perhaps Daniel's just backing off and accepting 6th place with his time penalties. I'm not sure. But the thing he's got to also think of is Nate Smith probably also has time penalties. As Daniel's going to make a move, actually. Down the DRS straight. Oh, Nate Smith has come very close to making contact there with his front wing. Let's hide the UI. Oh, my word. Nate Smith goes so wide there, nearly actually ruining his race. Oh my. DRS again down the main straight. This might be enough to make a move. In fact, I think it might be. He's got so much pace here. On the final lap, Daniel's made a move on Nate Smith. Nate Smith's not letting up. Nate Smith has made contact, and that will give Daniel the position. That will give Daniel the 5th spot here. Nate just got a bit too hyped up in the moment. His tyres are much older than those of Daniel's. I think that overtake was imminent, but Daniel left it on the last lap. Very interesting. We join Diego Cruz here on the last DRS straight. He's got no fuel. In fact, I think he might actually run out of fuel on the line here, or does it just always say that at the end of a race? I'm not sure. Riding on board with Diego Cruz now as he comes around the last couple of corners. Ladies and gentlemen, Diego Cruz has won the Translation eSports F3 Russian Grand Prix. In second, coming across the line now, we have Matty Smith and Fabio. Joseph Roberts and Daniel Budwell. Nate Smith followed by Joseph Roberts. Jaden, who is a minute behind. Slowly but surely, he will come across the line. But we will invite our top 3 into the party for interviews. Yes. It's YNWA Maddie.
What do you mean there's no suggested? That's better.
Is that the right Maddie I invited?
Oh, fucking hell.
And who was that came third? Do the invites, the interviews. And let privilege. Just gonna quickly go ahead and mute you, Brett. Welcome. Congrats, Diego, on a first place there. You seem to have just dominated that race. Actually, no, that's... Hold on, sorry. Yeah. You seem to have just dominated that race there. Give us your opinions on how you felt with pace that race. How'd you feel?
I was lucky that I got pole position because I made some mistakes in the lap. But of course, as Brett says, the controller is really quick on the getaway, so I was able to be in first position after turn 1, and then it was just cruising to the win. But unfortunately, I couldn't get the fastest lap because I extended the track a little bit. So, but it was like Singapore, a good race.
Yeah, great job. We congratulate you here at the commentary box. Just absolute masterclass driving there. Well done. What are your opinions on Russia as a circuit?
I don't know, man. I won there, so it's kind of gone to my favorite tracks now. So
yeah, well done.
But it's a nice flowing track, and if you don't get time penalties, it's really nice to drive, So
yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, well done. We'll try and get some other people in here from the top 3. Yeah, I don't think they're going to join us. We'll give them a minute.
It's just a shame that my teammate isn't doing what he's supposed to do,
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
Yeah, go cut this shit out. God damn it. Joe's not on the podium though, so
No. You reckon we should just end it here?
just end it there.
Alright, everyone, thank you for joining us.
Unless you want to
here.
hear my novel.
No, we don't want to hear your novel, Brett.
I don't even want to. I don't even want to read it.
But yeah, thank you everyone for joining us here for round 16 of the F3 Championship here at Russia. Very interesting race. But we'll join you for the next round at Brazil, is it? Where are we next round?
Japan.
Japan. So, yeah, thank you everyone for watching. It's been a pleasure commentating here at Translation eSports, and we'll see you next time.